What's going on, my friends? Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And yet again, here we are, another week of stories, another week of transformation and hope and possibility. That's what another Monday brings for me. And hopefully it brings that for you too. Hopefully not dread. And hopefully if that dread exists, hopefully it doesn't have to persist into the future and you can do something about that. This morning, let's hear what Jess did about it. Honesty and transparency in marketing. Yes, it exists, she says. Let's hear what she has to say. Jess, welcome to the show.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. Where are you calling in from?
I'm in Glastonbury, Connecticut.
Okay, nice. Any other digital marketers up there in Glastonbury, Connecticut?
Glastonbury.
Glastonbury. Any other digital marketers up that way that you know of?
No, I don't know of anyone else up here right now. So
Nice. So tell us how you found us. What were you looking for? Tell us your legendary story, and let us get to know you a little bit.
So 2020, of course, I work in insurance. I've worked in the same company for going on 15 years now, I think. And I've always been, since I had my kids, I've always been trying to let me work from home. I was every position that could be in that office. I was a broker, an assistant, a manager.
Yeah.
And they never really seemed to be okay with people working from home. So of course 2020 happened and everybody was just sent home. We were home for 2 years and then we hit more revenue than we've ever hit in the entire lifespan of the company in those 2 years. And they still made us come back. So I'm like, come on. I mean, we're clearly doing our job. If that was your concern, nobody's going to work from home. We're clearly doing our job. So just let us stay home. But in like, I want to say December of last year, they started to push everyone to go back 3 days a week. So that's fine, I guess, 3 days a week. But it got pushed off because there was more cases and all that kind of stuff. And then I think in May of this year, or March or April, they really said, okay, effective 6/1, everybody needs to be back in the office 3 days a week. Well, I'm like, you guys made us wait until absolute last minute. I have 2 kids. They're home for the summer. My daughter's in gymnastics and her gymnastics practice are not conducive to working. It's from 12 to 3. What? Okay. So I'm going to go in from 8 to 11:30 and then what's the point of that? Mm-hmm. So I really started looking online around March and I just happened to see, a video on TikTok, which I'm sure I've seen a lot of times before that, but it never really was like something I was like, yeah, okay. People are making money from home. Okay. I don't care. And then.
So were you at the time, right? From your job?
Yeah.
Basically. So I mean, in a sense, right? You were at least at home where you wanted to be, right?
Yeah. I've never wanted to not work. And I've never even actually wanted to work 100% from home. It was like my ideal situation would be to work like 3 days, not 3 days at work and 2 days home, like 3 days total, like the amount of 24 hours. That's it. I don't want to work any more than that. But, so I found that video and I was like, you know what? It's $7. I've spent a lot more than that on other things that didn't work out. So I'll try it. And, I took the 15-day business builder challenge. I got the blueprints, went through all of that twice now. I think I'm about to do it again just because you miss things. I know that I wasn't 100% paying attention to every single thing in the blueprint because there was other stuff going on. The kids were playing. And so when the kids go back to school, I'm doing it again. And I mean, it's been great. I've learned so much more than I learned from my, 5 years of college. And then I went back to school and that didn't work out and wasted so much money and so much time, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's how a lot of people feel, I think, is that they're tired of wasting time or feeling like they're wasting time following other people's plans. Is
Right.
that does that feel like it fits for you?
Yeah. I wasn't
Yeah.
really given an option for college. Like it was, you're going to college. So, and my husband
Yeah.
too. And we both do nothing at all having anything to do with our degrees.
Yeah.
Just
Gosh,
racked
that's
up a whole
interesting.
bunch of debt for nothing, really.
Now you as somebody who has a degree and you're clearly an intelligent, reasonable person. I am, out there and some might not say the same thing about me. Um, what is your opinion on people who have degrees and they really want to put the degree to work, but like they're also having that feeling in their stomach like, hey, I don't know that this plan that all these other people have laid out for me is going to work. So how do you talk to, and what do you say to people who also are like you, who have college degrees? And man, I don't have a degree. So that's why I'm asking you to speak on this. Is there a hesitation to want to break away from your career path because you feel like, well, I did all that and I don't want to waste it? What is that conflict like? Could you describe that and talk to some of the people who might be on the fence a little bit with degrees and feeling similar feelings?
I mean, for me, I think because I wasn't doing something with that degree, and I honestly, like, this is the sad part, is I went to school, I started going to school for athletic training. I wanted to be an athletic trainer. So I went to school for that. And then a year and a half in, I changed my major because it just wasn't gonna, like, the pay wasn't great, to be honest. And you go through all this school. I mean, it's a lot of schooling, and you basically do what a physical therapist does, but you make a tenth of their pay. So at
Mm,
that point, I was like, you know what? I'm not into this anymore. I'm going to go. I went for public health with a minor in nutrition, thinking that I would go into like the personal training type thing and whatever. Long story short, I knew from the time that I was changing my major that this wasn't really what I was going to do. Really, I wasn't excited about it, but I already went through 2 years, so I might as well get my degree. So I think I'm
mm,
in a little bit of a different situation than some people who went to school knowing this is what they want to do, or at least had an idea of, I'm graduating and I'm going to get a job, and whether they could find a job in that field or not. I knew when I graduated, I'm not doing anything with this degree. I mean, it was a
yeah.
complete waste of time, honestly. Like, it got my
Yeah.
foot in the door because employers, for some reason, are still stuck on, we want someone with a degree. It doesn't matter if you have a degree in grass growing. They just want you to
Yeah.
have that degree. So,
So I think Facebook user, I'd love to know what your name is, but this is this is a great comment. My indentured servant job is out of college. Um, it's becoming a widespread belief in the industry that the value of college degree has eroded nearly to the point of insignificance. It's got top administrators very concerned, and enrollment completions and retentions is falling off a cliff. Does that seem in line with your
yeah,
reality and what you've experienced too?
yeah. Hmm.
Wow. I wonder if one day there's going to be this kind of like, well, we won't find out about it though. I don't know. Like if there really is a massive fall off in students going to college, will they really tell us about that? Or will they try to pull the wool over? Because man, universities and college and these endowments and stuff are powerful. They
Yeah.
got a lot of cash. They got more cash than most Fortune 500 companies.
Hmm.
And again, I don't have a stat to back up what I just said, but they got a lot of cash. Okay. And you can do your own research to learn about how much cash some of these universities have, because they really get a lot of alumni to give back. And it's really a wild money making machine. And they'd probably say the same thing about our business, but in a way, we're competitors because what I'm saying is, you in many respects, 70% of you, 80% of you don't need that. 20% of you probably do. You want to be a heart surgeon, or you
Right.
want to be you want to be something that requires licensing and
Right.
requires, but everything else, the system is fairly broken, because you know how look, how many of you retain 100% of the information that you watch and listen to? None of you. We retain 5 to 10%. So if you're sitting there and, oh, by the way, you've got a boring instructor who's not making you feel anything, you're liable to walk out of there with nothing, because we only remember the way people make us feel, really. And so it's quite a coinky dink we find ourselves in, a lot of us as entrepreneurs with children. How old are your kids, and what are you thinking about how you're going to guide them in their future?
So I have a 9-year-old girl and a 6-year-old boy, and like me and my husband are both. My son is like really into building things and stuff like that. So my husband was really into like automotive stuff. He wanted to go to a tech school. His parents made him go to a private Catholic school for high school. So they paid a ridiculous amount of money for his high school when he didn't even want to go there. He wanted to go to the free community tech school. So
Your
we're just
husband,
what?
your
Huh?
husband did, your husband
Yeah,
did.
he
Yeah,
wanted to. Yeah.
and his parents wanted him to go elsewhere.
He went to a private high school. Yeah.
Our parents are something else.
Uh huh.
They really oftentimes push us. Now, we don't want to talk too bad about them, because we're grateful
Yeah.
for what they did, but in the same
Yes.
respect, they, what I've heard a lot of times from people who go to college, or people who have parents that push them like that, that oftentimes the child becomes just as successful uh, on their own path, because the parent pushing them, the child's pushing back, and then the child wants to go and do it their own way.
Yeah.
And so it's not particularly bad to have parents who sort of want to live vicariously through you. It can
Yeah.
end up turning out to be a great thing, and it sounds like that's what happened with you and your husband, or at least your husband. His parents
Yeah.
wanted to push him, and now you both are finding kind of your own path. What does your husband think about all this, and in where do you find yourself kind of now with your friends and family with this sort of new path?
So we don't. I mean, with my family, they are completely on board. They whatever I do, they'll support me. So it's not an issue with that. My friends, I don't really talk about it too much because they're the people that are set in their ways of their kids going to college, their kids going to, private high schools. And so we're just on a different level, I guess, a
Mm.
different mindset. Because I'm not, and I'm very open about if my kids don't want to go to college and they want to be a hairdresser or a mechanic, then they're not
Yeah,
going to college, and I'm not going to force it, because by the time they're in college, it's going to be $100,000 for a year. I mean,
yeah,
why
and
waste that money?
there may be a lot of new public information and so forth.
Right.
Is all it takes is really a big story to break.
Right.
Like a really big, like a big statistic, like whatever. Like if there was like a big controversial story that only 10% of students actually use their degree, or like the
If
success
even,
rate of
I
college,
don't even
you know
think
what I
it's
mean?
even, I don't think it's even 10%.
Well,
I don't know anyone who uses their college degree. It's just,
with the transparency that the market's bringing, like eventually that information is going to come out,
yeah,
because we are moving into a more kind of transparent marketplace where people, it's harder to hide things. It's harder to keep things secret anymore. And so I think a lot of the information that feels secretive to us, you know what I mean? Like, we got it and we're not really sure if the world's ready for it yet. Like, so we don't want to tell our friend, or we already know where their head's at. I think a lot of it sort of like the work from home thing. I don't know if you remember the time, because maybe you were not involved in internet marketing yet, but there was a time to where digital marketing, work from home, was only MLMs. That word was only used for like home-based business opportunities. It's like, want to work from home, that
right.
was kind of a schemy, scammy, almost had a a vibe
Icky
to it.
feel, yeah.
Yeah, like, what do you mean work from home?
Yeah.
You know? And you mean really prospect all your friends and family and be on three-way calls all day, but and then actually really have to still have your job and then go and embarrass yourself, going around to local hotels trying to drag Grandma Shirley to your business presentation. But
Right.
anyways, so 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 yeah, work from home has become a kind of a staple, a house, what do they call it? A household name. It's like
Yeah.
something that we're all familiar with. So I wonder what else is going to change because of whether it be natural disaster or whether it be something that's out of our control, or just because some sort of massive piece of information comes out that wakes the country or even the world, but specifically the US, up to the fact that college isn't what everybody's been promising, that it's almost predatory in a sense to just try to force or make it seem as if it's the only way an 18-year-old who hasn't had their brain. Now, this is scientifically proven. An
Yeah.
18-year-old who has not, their brain has not fully developed. Now, we can call 18-year-old adult, but the brain doesn't fully develop till the mid-20s. And so now at 18, we're being pushed into college, taking on hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Guess what else comes at 18? What else, Jess, did you start getting in the mail at 18?
Money.
Credit card.
Oh,
Credit
yeah,
card.
credit cards. Oh, yes.
Right?
Yep.
So the other thing you start getting immediately at 18 is credit card applications.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are as a society preying. To me, that sounds predatory. Preying on our most vulnerable.
Yeah.
That's the problem I have with it. Now, yes, education, all that. We all know that education is important. We know that environment is important. We know that, I mean, Napoleon Hill and these personal development writers have been writing about this for hundreds of years, and people even before that, right? But still, society acts like that's the only path. And I just think a lot of us are waking up. And I just wonder, like the work from home thing that once was not accepted or whatever, but now it's embraced. I
Yep.
wonder what now is not accepted or frowned upon that will soon be embraced. What comes up for you as I say that?
I mean, I just feel like it's definitely going to be more and more people learning that the 9 to 5 is not the only way to make money. And it really is the worst way to make money. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You're working your butt off for, I mean, some people, I guess, and my job, I'm not complaining about it. I have a good job and I have great people I work with. They're very, understanding of my situation, but most people don't. And most moms don't have that. So I think
And,
it's
and there's
going
nothing
to,
wrong with you as an employee saying what you're happy or unhappy with,
right,
just so we're all clear. That's not
right,
illegal. None of us should
right.
get fired for saying that.
I
So
know,
I'm
but you
just,
can. That's what's ridiculous this day and age.
well, they'd be very ballsy to fire you for saying that you're just laying out your truth here.
Yeah,
And so just everybody should be very clear about that. Know your rights, know what you can and can't say, what you can and can't do, because especially in this, I think this is what it's about. It's about, and I talked about this on Friday. Don't believe them. Don't rely on somebody else. Don't
right.
rely on your buddy. Don't rely on, people come on Facebook and ask for legal advice when you could so easily just pick up the phone and do a free consultation and get your question answered for free by 5 different attorneys. But you didn't try. I
Right.
didn't try. Whatever. So man, you're taking your life by sort of, the bull by the horns, if you will. And that's a little bit scary. Talk to us about some of the mental hurdles or roadblocks that you've had to overcome. And maybe, let us know that it's not all, because I mean, I can look at your social media profiles and, you know, it always looks easier than I know it really is. And so talk to us about the difference between how it looks and how it feels. Does that make sense? Because it looks smooth, but does it feel smooth? And talk to us about some of the mindset hurdles that you've had to overcome through this journey.
Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes it's smooth. Sometimes you have good days and sometimes you have bad days. And it's always like in the back of my head, at least, where like I'll have a bad day and I won't get, and the views don't really, I don't really care so much about the views because I'll just make more videos. That doesn't really bother me. But like I'll have a couple days where I don't get a sale and I'm like, is this really, can I really do this? You know, like,
Yeah.
and then I immediately catch myself now thinking that, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. You're not, my goal is not to, you know, completely quit my job in the next 6 months. Honestly, my goal is to be able to quit my job in 4 years, which like that's plenty of time to make something happen and turn this into something that I can do full time.
Yeah.
But it's still every day. And then it's hard when you have a 40-hour a week job, which I've been able to
Oh
cut down
gosh.
to 32 hours, which is, that's good because then I have 8 hours to devote to this. But
Yeah.
it's hard to work a job, to do a side job, to have two kids that have to go to their sporting events. And so some
Oh
days it's
God.
really like at the end of the
Don't
day,
even.
I'm like, just go to bed. Everybody needs to just go to bed and leave me
Yeah.
alone.
Just leave me alone, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm sick of you. I think that
Yeah.
about my kids sometimes. I'm just like, God, I'm sick of you right now in this moment. You know
Yes.
what I mean? God, get
Yes.
away.
Yes.
Oh my God, I love you. Go away.
Yes. Yeah. And then to have a husband and to try to, you know, build a relationship with your husband too is like
That's
at
a
the end of the
lot.
day, some days I'm just like, go in the other room, watch what you want to watch, go play your game. Let me just be
Mhm.
alone, please.
Oh God, my wife and I have to have that every night. You're
Yeah.
my wife and I like, we spend time apart for sure. Um Man, that is a lot of stuff. That is a lot of stuff. That's a lot of life. That's a lot of life you're living. I mean, right
Yeah.
now. And I love I'm loving the realistic expectations because expectations are in a way some of the most deceiving things that we can have. Expectations, when I put them on a person, whew, that's a resentment waiting to happen, boy. And if I put expectations on a business or a thing, boy, whew, what I am giving that thing way too much credit in myself. I'm not taking enough credit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and that's, I think, one of the biggest challenges that we run into when we start a business, especially in this industry, around a bunch of overnight success stories, right?
Yeah.
Overnight millionaires, right? Everybody got rich overnight online. Um, and so nobody wants to talk about the grind. Nobody wants to talk about this shit we're talking about right now, which is that 4-year plan. You know what I mean? Um, and and so why not 6 months? Why not 9 months? Why not a year to quit your? Why are you giving yourself such a realistic? And I'm for that, by the way. By the way, because you can always, you know what? You can always say, I'm ready to quit sooner.
Yeah.
But it's worse if you say, oh, I got to prolong this. So take us through your thought process of setting goal, because that's kind of a goal, setting goals. And I'm sure maybe you could speak to this about fitness as well. Maybe, are you in the fitness industry as well? At least I think I heard you say
Not
something about personal trainer,
personally,
but
yes, but not.
okay. So can you talk to us about setting, how you think about setting goals, and how we can maybe help other people not set goals that they never hit, and in turn constantly always feel like a failure? That's the point that I'm trying to get at. And I think that a lot of people have is these super crazy expectations, and when they don't get rich in a week, or they don't, or oh, God forbid, they don't make a sale in a couple of days, it's just like something must be wrong with me. I've got a microscope on this day on the calendar, as if it's the last day of humanity, and I've lost complete track of the entire massive picture in front of me. How do you deal with that?
So, I mean, I used to set these like ridiculous goals and go on these like ridiculously strict diets when I was younger, and they always failed because you can't just cut things out of your life, and you can't just set, this is a hard goal. I've had this particular view since I started working any job. I always would give a job a year. I'll give it a year, because in a year you've overcome the newness of it, learning the skills. At least if you don't by a year, then maybe it's not for you. But for me, it's always been a year is plenty of time to grow into whatever you're doing and to be comfortable in it and to discover what. One second.
I don't care. It's fine.
What? Yes, go ahead. Shut the door, please.
Okay.
Anyway, shut the door, please. Okay, shut the door. But okay. All right.
2 kisses, 5 kisses.
Yes.
You need 5 kisses to be satisfied.
But I just feel like I set short-term goals, but I don't always meet them, and I've gotten to a point in my life where that's okay. It's not, it's nice to have something to try to work towards in a week or 2 weeks or a month, but those don't really matter so much to me as the long term.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like clear enough, but.
Well, it sounds like you just, it's super clear. And what made it clear was the fact that you said that when you were younger, you made a lot of health goals that you did that were super unrealistic or whatever. And was that sort of about hitting some, like, was that about lifting some sort of amount of weight? Was that about a perfect look that you thought that you would achieve? Yeah.
It was more like a goal weight. So I would cut off, I would cut out anything.
Can we play yours?
Go ahead. It's fine. Go. Out there. It's in the kitchen.
I'm relating. It's
okay,
unbelievable.
but you need to go. Okay, go. Please go. Go play. So why are so many people afraid of real life stuff going on camera? I don't care. I actually think that it actually sells more. It's more authentic, and it's better. It actually is better when there's real life going on in your videos. I think it's like, I'm in the corporate world, so that's not like, you don't have a life except for your job. You know what I'm saying?
Right. If your kids walk in, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, you have kids. What do you mean? They're in the house.
Interrupting a very important meeting where we're all going over the things that we've already sent to each other via email.
Right.
It's like,
yeah,
we all take ourselves way too seriously in the boardroom.
Yeah. But I used to set like very strict goals. So like, body weight goals. And I don't do that anymore. And I'm honestly like, now that I haven't done it in like 2 or 3 years, I'm in better shape now than I was when I used to set my goals. So I think it's more, for me, it's just consistency. If I'm consistent in what I'm doing, and like some days I may not get a workout in, and I'm starting to be okay with that. I've had a really hard time before being okay with not. But now if I'm so busy where I'm working on my, my 9 to 5, and then I'm working on my business, if I don't have time to get in a workout, it's okay.
Yeah, I feel you. I really am in the worst shape of my life right now, but I love myself more, and I feel better, more attractive to my wife, and it's just because I feel more comfortable in my own skin. And I'm not saying that and now, believe it or not, that once I've detoxed from all of that sort of that such harsh self-criticism of like in folks, we're harsh critics of ourselves, whether we're doing the work or whether we're not doing the work. So it doesn't matter whether you're doing the work or not. This is not about doing the work or not doing the work. It's about the mindset and how we speak to ourselves and how we view ourselves. And ironically, now that I've had like a couple of years of like just trying to learn to love myself, man. I know this sounds hoo-hoo, but just not being obsessed about what everybody else thinks, and also what my body looks like and all this stuff, comparing. You know what? Now I've actually lost 10 pounds in the last couple of months. Because we hired a personal chef, and I know that's a little bit of a, I know I have an advantage there, but damn it, I've worked hard for this advantage. And she comes over and cooks fresh for us every night.
That's great.
I know, it's crazy. We still make our kids do the dishes and all that, do their chores and stuff. But God, it's helpful. But now I actually want to work out too. I'm excited to get back into and I've got turf in my backyard. I've got a little outdoor. But it's amazing when we stop focusing so much on ourselves. Tony Robbins said, if you're in your head, you're dead. And when I'm thinking about me, I'm just in my head the whole time, and I can never. It's fine. I can mute you too, Jess, and keep talking if you're gotta talk to him. I just never. When I'm thinking about me, I can't think about you, and I can't make money, and I can't get results, and I can't. Nothing in life happens when I'm so obsessed with me. And I think there's a big one of the biggest success secrets is to let it go. Just post it anyways. Don't worry about if you don't get the workout in today. Focus on tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like it not being perfect. Good is the enemy of or perfect is the enemy of good or something. Yeah. There's a progress quote that I'm trying to reach for. Are you finding that when you release the perfectionism, if you will, that you're a lot more productive and you're actually having more success in your life, both your business and your life overall? Is that actually happening?
Yeah. I stopped editing. I just stopped editing altogether. I just record it. And if I miss a word or I stumble, whatever, I don't care. And I feel like those videos where I never used to talk, I used to just do the pointing and the words because I was like, I don't want to talk. I don't. Because I'm too upset. I used to be too obsessed with it had to be perfect. And then, my face, I looked kind of nasty in that one, like I didn't look happy or I didn't look nice. So now the videos that I actually talk in and mess words up and whatever are the ones that get, I have one that has like 331,000 views on Facebook, and I've gotten paid on the reels, which is great. But it's one that I messed up, like it's one that I just was talking about how I felt during that day and how much gas or whatever is. And it's been better. So now I don't edit it. I just, whatever. I just do it and I post it.
The amount of time that we waste, whether it be criticizing our own work or thinking about how we're not going to be good enough when we finally do the work, is insane. And if we had you know how you have the screen time thing on your phone that none of us look at because we don't want to know how much actual screen time we've actually been on these damn things.
I get a notification every week and I ignore it.
Yeah, exactly, because it's not fun to think about. But so the amount of time that we spend criticizing and comparing, if we were to have a screen time, here's how much time you spent, Jess, Dave, Den, Sarah Valente, Nicole, Paul, here's how much time you spent this week criticizing yourself and comparing yourself to other people. We would talk about a number that we would want to ignore. And so the question is, how do we do that less? And what really is it? Some of us say, well, I don't have time to love myself. I got to make money now. So how did you get I don't have time to feel comfortable in my own skin. I understand that. I get it. It's been a long journey for me, by the way. And guess what? The number one thing that's helped me do it is talk and share and tell my story in front of other people. That's the number one thing that's helped me feel comfortable in my own skin, and do it with less and less need to please you each time I do it, and less need for your big reaction and for you to love me. Just, this is my truth. This is what I'm doing. I'm not here to please. I'm here to help people. And I felt more comfortable in my skin. How, but it's a process. It's a process. So what was it like when you went to post that first video or that first week? Could you take us back, and what were you saying to yourself, or did you do anything in particular that helped you get it out?
Yeah, I went to a brewery and I drank.
Love it.
I went to a brewery with my husband, and I had made the video like, I don't know, 2 weeks before, and I was like, I just need to post this damn video. And so we went there. I had one beer, and he like went off to go get food, and I hit submit, and I was like, I just sent it. And it was fine. It was fine. Yeah. 2 weeks wasted just because I was nervous to hit the send button. Like,
that's all? You only wasted two. That is nothing. That is nothing. Do you know that there are many of us who waste months and years, or who, getting ready to get ready. And I don't want to put anyone down. So when I say waste, gosh, maybe you're just getting ready to get ready. I certainly don't want to make anybody feel like, think I'm better than anybody. I'm not. I have all of the same sort of, all of the same hurdles and mental hiccups and issues that everybody else does. And I struggle with them on a daily basis. I really do. And I think the gurus and the success experts who say they don't, or only talk about everybody else, are liars. And oftentimes you always find that a plumber's got a leak in his house. The mindset expert, the success, personal development gurus, marriage is, he hasn't had sex with his wife in 2 years or whatever. I mean, they sleep. Come on. I mean,
right.
We all struggle. This shit is hard. Being alive is hard. Being human is hard. Being a parent is hard. Getting clean is hard. All these things, they're hard. And you know what makes them harder? It's the hardest part about all of it is the extra added weight that we throw in our bag and carry it around with the additional criticism and comparison that we do. And it's I was talking to somebody on Friday, and he said that on this show, and he said, yeah, I can't remember if he said I blocked all my friends and family, or I just created a new account, but just to separate them all. And I was like, wow, how'd that feel? And he was like I took a big rock out of my backpack.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
You did the same thing. How did that turn out for you? And what made you finally say, okay, I'm doing this?
I just didn't I have a few friends who are just judgmental, I guess. And, that will never work. I don't know why people would try to make money online. It's never going to work. So I knew it would work. I mean, I knew that it would work. It's not like it's not a scammy thing. It's an honest business model. I knew that it would work if I put effort into it. So I just didn't even want them involved in it at all. So I started a new Facebook, and I didn't start a new TikTok, but I had never posted anything, and I wasn't really friends with any of my actual friends on TikTok because I just watched the funny dances and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's worked out where I really haven't had that I know, unless they see it and they just don't say anything, but I don't think that would happen. So I've had success where I haven't, people that I know haven't seen it yet, other than a handful that do actually comment, and they're like, oh, you're doing great. But most people just haven't even, it's worked out is what I'm trying to get to. Separating the two worked out.
And Sheena said, that's what makes this so freeing. For the first time in my life, I'm doing something that is true to me, no imposter syndrome, and that's got me on fire. And I know what she means at least I relate her comment to things I've done in the past where I've sold crap that I didn't really want to be selling. When I first got involved in work from home, I mean, I went head first into the MLMs, man. I was head first,
I did too.
I mean, I got prospected by a girl named Katrina at a telemarketing job I had that I got when I was in drug treatment. You know what I mean? So I came out hot and heavy,
Yeah.
ready to get rich. And
Mhm.
the internet wasn't a thing really yet. This was 2004. So 2004, 2005. So the internet was a thing, but it wasn't like a thing that was super popular, and we weren't all walking around on our phones and stuff on Facebook and stuff yet. And yeah, I mean, that was the first opportunity I saw. It was offline. It wasn't,
Mhm.
I wasn't even on the internet. I was just coming out of drug treatment in 2005, and so I pretended in a lot of jobs, and I pretended in a lot of MLM type things that I did, that I believed in that the products were great. The jobs, I'd put on a smile and act fake, and could never really, be myself, and just, wear what I want, say what I want, all that. And that really made me uncomfortable. And it's probably why I wasn't successful with them, is because that is so difficult. I think one of the most difficult things in the world is to try to be something that you're not, and put on a big sort of, Wizard of Oz curtain, and do the whole, the corporate thing can be exhausting too. But if you're selling something, or you're in a business that you don't fully believe in, that can also be exhausting. And so, can you think of any other thing that you had a moment where you were kind of like, F it, and you were like, I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna do it, or I'm not gonna let that particular thought or anything hold me back anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I I've over the past year, and this was even before I got into Legendary, I just kind of made a deal with myself that I wasn't going to deal with people or like attitudes that didn't mesh well with me. I'm 36, and I'm just like, I have two kids that I'm trying to raise to be like independent thinkers, and I'm just not I'm at a point in my life now where I'm not dealing with drama, and if you're going to bring drama, then I'm just going to have to, seclude myself from you. So,
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's a
So
beautiful
now I
place
don't
to be in
care.
life.
Yeah, now I don't care. I don't care who sees anything. I don't care the comments that I get, which I luckily so far haven't gotten like any like nasty comments, but I've gotten a couple, and I just delete them. I don't care anymore,
Yeah.
you know.
I wonder if you could speak, just before we wrap this up, to the people who are, how people, and I see this every day, and I see it, on the show, and people are like, does it really work? And does this really work? And that they've probably said that with everything that they've done. We do. We When we go in, and we have to ask every other single person, who's in line waiting to do something. If we have to ask every single person in line, like, why are you doing what? Does this really work? And they're in line doing it. You know what I mean? They're in
Mhm.
line to do it. Um, you're probably not in the mindset to succeed. Like, you're probably in the mindset, whether you do this or something else, you're not in a mindset that you're going to succeed. And it's really empowering for me to say that to you, because I don't have to lie to anybody who watches this show each morning in hopes that you'll buy our courses. This is not an MLM. I'm not hoping that you'll join and recruit three who get three who get three. I don't care. I can run ads and sell my products just as much as anybody else can sell my products. So it's not, I don't have a dog in the fight to try to blow smoke up anybody's butt who watches
Right.
this. But if you gotta, if you gotta ask every single person who's standing in line, or who's already doing it, is this really, then you're not in a mindset to have success. It doesn't matter what you do, because it's
Right.
not about the thing, that you're not going to get in, and the thing's going to, you don't believe in yourself. You don't believe in yourself, and it wouldn't matter. I'm not, I don't want to be your savior. I don't want to be your guru. That's too
Right.
much pressure on me. I don't want that. I'm not your mentor who's hitting you up in Facebook, your mentor who wants to be your mentor for, and show you how to make money organically by coming back in our Facebook group and trying to recruit more people. Like I'm not that guy.
Right.
So it's difficult to say that, but my hope is that it's very freeing for people, because I'm not here on the show every morning saying, please believe in me and our products because they're going to change your life if you just go through this course. No, they're there. They've changed a lot of people's lives. It's documented. If anybody's curious or wondering if this works, these strategies work, I've been doing this for 10 years. And just look at the hundreds and hundreds of interviews that we've done on the same Facebook profile. You don't have to ask. Just go to the Facebook profile, click on the videos, and look at the hundreds and hundreds of people who I've talked to for an hour a person. And we got on there. I hadn't even talked to you before we went live today, did I? I just kind of came on and was like, all right, I just kind of got here a minute late. Sorry, ready to go live type of thing, But there's a certain personal responsibility that we all have to take. And the sooner that we have somebody in our life that tells us that truth, I think the sooner that we have an opportunity for real success and happiness, because it's not a man or a woman. It's not somebody outside yourself. It's not a guru. It's not anything that's going to get you where you want in life. It's you. And you got to believe in yourself. You got to be willing to put the money on you instead of always putting the money on somebody else and hoping that they're going to lead you to the promised land. It's not how it works. You got to be willing to blaze your own path. You get the final thought. What comes up for you as I say that, and anything else that you want to leave us with?
Well, so I think that millionaire mindset, is that what it's called with the blueprints?
The audio?
Yeah.
The millionaire mindset audio.
That's really what gets me through the tough times, because it's different being an employee versus being an entrepreneur, because there's no one there pushing you. There's no script you need to follow. These are your duties you need to do. You have to kind of make it up as you go. And it's all laid out what you actually have to do, but it's doing it. It's actually making your calendar and following through on being your own boss, basically. And for a lot of people, I think for me, that was kind of hard to get into initially, because I was used to just being the employee and following along. Okay, I have to do this. Okay, this was sent to me, so now I do this. This was sent to me, so now I do this. But when you're running your own company, regardless of what you're doing, if you're running your own company, then you're in charge of making that list and making sure that you do it. There's no one there saying, did you do this today? Did you do this today? It's due today. You have to do it all yourself. So that audio has really made it easier, I guess, for me, because it makes you realize that you're not alone, that these feelings that you're having are normal, and they're just feelings. Like, your brain is crazy how it plays with you and feeds on the doubts that you have, which is very strange how it does that, but it does.
Doesn't it show you how brilliant you are? That's your brain that's doing that. I mean, it's really, imagine if you leverage the power of such a unbelievable machine to think, to put that energy into creative ideas. We can all get our brain to a place to where it thinks about fear and the things it's afraid of less. And it puts all of that beautiful energy, and all of us are full of amazing energy, like crazy energy, but we often filter it through our anxieties and our fears. We dwell on that, and that really takes a lot of energy. When we're anxious and we're afraid and that's exhausting. And so if we can learn how to channel that, how do we do that? Well, we've got to act ourselves into a new way of thinking. Can't think ourselves into a new way of acting. We have to act ourselves. So we act as if we're already successful. We post the video as if we already have 1 million viewers. We talk in the video as if there's 1 million people who are listening. We post as if there's 1 million people who are waiting. We write the email as if there's 1 million people who are going to read. Because when we write like that, and isn't that a lot more exciting to write for? Now it's a little bit more scary. I know, don't go down that rabbit hole, but to write for 1 million people that wow, I'm posting this video, 1 million people are going to see this. It's just a different, now I've got people that I'm serving. Now I've got people that are waiting on me. They're counting on me. I believe, whether you assholes are actually here waiting on me every morning or not, I believe that you are, and quite frankly, honestly, if I passed on tomorrow, Matt and my wife and Julie and the team would probably say, all right, well, we gotta replace him. The show's got to go on. So maybe Matt would do it 5 days a week, but I believe that I got to come here and serve. And then that belief serves me well, because I'm thinking of different creative ideas constantly. And instead of all the fears and the things that could go wrong, So, all right. Well, listen, I know your kids are out there being so wonderfully well behaved. Your son came in for multiple kisses. You sent him away, and now he is out there waiting patiently. I cannot keep you.
He's waiting for his iPad time, is what he's waiting for.
I need to let you go to get to this little man. Have a fantastic day, Jess. We'll put up all your links and banners to make sure everybody knows how to find you here. And stay legendary. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Come back, please.
Yep.
All right.
Bye.
See ya. All right, my friends. So you can follow Jess on Facebook, and you can see how to spell her name right there on the screen. It's Jessica. And I'm going to spell out her last name, Pelletier. Wait, hold on. She's right there. Let me bring her back. How do you say your last name?
Pelletier.
Pelletier. See ya. Pelletier, Jessica Pelletier. That's Pelletier, Jessica Pelletier. She's also on TikTok, Making Money with Jess. And I sure hope to have her back really soon, because that was a really, really great and super down-to-earth conversation. And I think a great way to start off our Monday. So let's see you back here tomorrow for another episode. Get out there, do something today that's going to make you feel like, hey, I've got this week off to a great start. And as I've said before, one of the best ways to do that is what is the number one most impactful activity or behavior or task that I can do today, and make sure that you do that thing first, not last, because if you do it last, it'll probably get kicked till tomorrow. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Get out of here. Peace.